Are you a consumer or are you a creator? That is the biggest question I think people are asking. I know a lot of studies have come out recently talking about how Gen Z and whatever generations after them really wants to be creators first. They don't want to have a full-time job. So there's no doubt that social media is here to stay. It's how can we manage our relationship with it that I think we really need to dive deep into, and also how is social media at the core on research levels affecting us cognitively, right? How can we implement social media literacy and really, really make sure that at the end of the day, we're protecting our mental health? So when you're online, when you're scrolling, sometimes it can be a toxic environment. Sometimes you are seeing people using those filters, even the Instagram story filters, the TikTok filters that add a beauty filter that make your lips bigger, that make your eyes brighter, they make your teeth whiter. Okay, but when you're doing that, you need to extricate yourself from the situation and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Here is something that is making me look like someone and something that is not attainable. Maybe in an AI Web3 environment, your avatar could look like that. But no, not in real life. That is not what we can ever look like because it's a filter on our face, right? You could do makeup to look exactly like an Instagram filter or a TikTok filter, and it won't translate in real life because you know what? It's not real at the end of the day. So my number one rule is no filters. I don't use filters, I don't retouch, those do not live on my pages at all, unless it's like one of those funny, like
goofy ones.
Animation ones, not one that's face altering or body altering, none of that. And I encourage and implore everybody to kind of take that stance. And if you are doing a filter, and if you've ever caught yourself saying, oh, I wish my lips were bigger because of that filter, oh, I wish my teeth were whiter, you're good as you are, honey. Like, you have bigger fish to fry than comparing yourself to an Instagram story filter. But the reality is so many young people and people my age, heck, I just said, I've done it. And I'm like fully about to be 24. Like, this is something that I have dealt with before, especially being an influencer, where you see even people like huge celebrities using them. You're like, if they could do it, why can't I? But then you do it and then you feel bad about yourself, right? So I think doing that whenever you can. But then we have to look even deeper and see, okay, when I'm scrolling, how am I feeling, right? When I'm scrolling, when I see somebody and I see something that triggers me, what's triggering me? Is it how somebody else looks and am I comparing myself to that? Is it I'm scrolling and they have something I want that I think that I want, but I'm not sure how to get it and I'm not sure why I want it, right? Is it just like a clout thing? How can you really figure out what makes you tick? And in turn, what ticks you off? And if you can answer both of those two things, if you can scroll for 5 minutes and think, is this thing bothering me? Is that person not giving me good vibes? And like, I literally mean it on that level. Like, there's some posts that you see that you're just irked by. Hey, unfollow. It's nothing personal. It's what you got to do to maintain your mental health, right? You want your scrolling environment to be as concise and poignanted as possible, because the truth also is these algorithms are getting so smart to the point where you could say the word plant or engage with a photo of a plant, and the next day you'll see more in your feed about plants. So if an algorithm is doing that and you're seeing things that are making you upset, but you keep engaging with them, it's gonna give you more of that. And by proxy, it's going to hurt your mental health. So my rule of thumb is, okay, where am I at right now? How can I look and examine for a very short amount of time? And I do this quarterly. So every 3 months, I look at my feed, I look at who I'm following, I see what's ticking me off. I need to cut it. If it is, it's gone. Bye. I don't even think twice about it anymore, because you know what? Even with people, right? It's like, oh, what's gonna happen if Bob from high school sees I'm not following them? Guess what? Bob from high school probably doesn't care. And I just think we can't take things so personally. So yeah, that's another thing that I do. And yeah, just being a consumer online, it can be hard, it can be tricky, but as a creator, I don't consume as much as I create. And I create so that it can be consumed. So as a creator, how can I make content that's not going to affect people in a bad way, right? An example that I think is very top of mind, top of line are these, day in my life or what I eat in a day video kind of situations. And those are videos that hold a lot of weight to other people because some people, again, can't take themselves out of the situation and say, that is what works for somebody else and not me. And that is a key, I think, point that everybody needs to really drill into their mindset of, I can't compare myself to something someone else is doing in real life, but also online, right? Sometimes I see people online and I'm like, I want to be like them. But then I'm like, wait, Gigi, pause. Like, you're doing so much, bestie. Like, you got to give yourself a round of applause. Like, there's no need to compare. Nobody is your competition. Like, you are your own competition. And I mean that not only in the sense of what you can accomplish, but what you can also become aware of. It's your awareness of how you're doing, and mentally and physically.
So we tend to express ourselves in a lot of different ways. Online, hey, we get to be behind this veil. You get to not be seen, and you can express yourself in positive ways or in toxic ways. What do you say to somebody who might be going through something and makes the decision that we all dread to express themselves in a non-positive way online?
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference between feeding into a toxic culture online and expressing something negative, right? So you could share something negative, your frustration, your anger with words, right? But something we have to remember is that nothing is ever going to go away on social media, right? It's always permanent. There's an archive to everything. Somebody's taken a screenshot. The bigger you get, the more screenshots of people there are, the more fan pages there can be, the more, tracking of what you're doing there is. So I think sometimes from the creator side, if somebody, sees something that makes them upset and they decide to make a nasty comment, it's like, okay, well, why are we doing that? Would you ever say that to my face? And if the answer is yes, then okay, maybe we got a problem. Like, let's dive deeper in. Are you okay? Right? Almost having sympathy for the people that are being negative, but not to the extent that it excuses their behavior. It's something that we have to hold people accountable for, and I don't know what the solution for that is yet. I think there's going to be more resources and more conversation around how to deal with trolls online, because they're called trolls for a reason, right? They're called, haters because they're online. They're not contributing anything to a positive environment. So
it can come from a myriad of things. It might be I'm hating, I might be a troll, I might be all these different things, but
may have rained.
The space online allows for that to be autonomous, that to be anonymous. You get to kind of, like I said, hide behind this veil of like, I can say this, there's no repercussions, you don't really know me, I really don't know you, I can close my keyboard, I can kind of walk away from it, but not thinking of, hey, whatever I just wrote can have a lasting effect on someone.
Yeah.
So what do you say to someone that, hey, who may be A, doing it, and then someone B, who's receiving it?
For the person doing it, would you say that to your brother, your sister, your niece, anyone younger than you? Would you say that to your grandma, your aunt, your mom, your dad, your caregiver? Would you? Right?
Oh, that's a good question for them.
Think of me or anybody as an influencer, as somebody that you know, right? When you're doing that, you're doing it from this, oh, I don't really know you. But okay, let's flip it around. Let's say, okay, maybe you do know me, right? Would you actually behave this way if you did know me? And the answer is usually no. And the reason why they get away with it is because a lot of creators and influencers on the receiving side say, okay, it's just a hater, bye. And at the end of the day, we can delete the comments, we can censor the words. That doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't affect us, because at the end of the day, it does. Like, there's a lot of stuff online. Like, one time I posted about this hair care product that people didn't like. Like, people just were like, I don't like this product. You're, being like a supporter of this product, and therefore, you suck. And I was like, you saw one video of me curling my hair with a product and you're mad? Honey, you have better things to do. So as a creator, that's my mindset. But in terms of somebody doing it, I mean, I've never done this, so I don't really know where it comes from, but they do say hurt people, right? Somebody did something to them to make them so insecure about where they're at that they have to say something mean that could affect somebody else. So obviously, simply put, don't do it. Don't do it. Before you do it, if you do you have a journal? Can you write it down? Can you get kind of checked by a friend if you want to leave a comment and give your opinion? Because, we do live in this world, the wild, wild west, where censorship online is a little bit interesting and non-existent at the same time. People can say anything, and
I guess repurpose that energy in the space of maybe look from within. If you're in that space and you feel like, hey, we can all get triggered off something online.
Exactly.
The space in itself, we're all human. I guess it touches back to that point of redemption and understanding. If you feel like you're in that space, would you say it would be a good idea to maybe re-examining why you're in that space? Maybe needing someone to speak to. Maybe journal about it. Don't comment about it.
Or simply unfollow the person that made you upset.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times we want this one answer of, oh, we're gonna cure this idea of trolls. It's not that, it's a mindset shift. It's why am I releasing negative energy and projecting it onto somebody else who I don't even know? Why am I doing that, right? How can you maybe internalize that or release it somewhere else and say, okay, here's why it triggered me, I'm gonna unfollow them. That's what I need to do to maintain my mental health right now, to maintain my posture, to not break. Because when you're doing something negative, you're losing that posture that you have to hold. You're saying, I'm willing to compromise on my integrity, on who I am, and be mean because somebody made me upset, which is really just a reflection of how I'm doing. So how can you throw that back on yourself and say, okay, this person made me upset, I have to do some work. I'm gonna sit down with my therapist and talk about it, right?
Exactly. Maybe am I okay moment.
Yeah.
Maybe you're asking yourself,
right? Because
I'm choosing to do this, am I okay?
And then there's the other thing where it's is somebody leaving this comment on the creator side, the receiving side, that is in a way constructive, but maybe I'm taking it personally, right? Are they saying something about the work and they're like, you could do this better? Okay, I don't need to get upset about that. I could take that, I can own it, I can say, you know what? I made a mistake or I did something not at my fullest potential. Here's how I'm going to redeem myself. Here's how I'm going to make my work better. Here's the next partner that I'm gonna do to provide you with what I lacked before, right? That's what it's all about. But if it's, some hater, some troll, there's nothing you can do about that. You just gotta delete, report, block, bye-bye.
Create boundaries.
Yeah, it's the boundary, exactly. And we should also talk about that word, boundary, because as an influencer, as a creator, as somebody who has a public life, I have to have a boundary with my phone. But you know what? My phone is on me. Now is actually one of the times where I don't have my phone on me at all times, where I'm not necessarily capturing every single sound by every single moment. And I think that I need to scale back and say okay, why are you so addicted? And how can you be okay resting? And back to what we talked about before with breath work, that's something that calms me. Swimming, okay, I'm swimming. And really trying to focus myself on doing these unique tasks without my phone is really, really important for me to also maintain and show up as my best self online and in person.